Now you're probably noticing that all the clips that I'm playing in session view are just playing perfectly in sync with each other. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that all the clips that I've brought in are warped, and that's because each of these is just a short loop, and Ableton Live detected that as such, and so therefore it automatically warped these for me. It also helps that all of these are coming from Ableton's core library, so they've all been analyzed already. But yeah, remember that shorter loops, Ableton's pretty good at detecting those and automatically warping them for us. The other reason that everything's playing in sync is that I have this setting, and this is a default setting called the global launch quantization, which is up here. And right now it's set to 1 bar. So keep in mind that if I hit play on a clip, the arrangement is just continuing to play back in the background. Let's just delete this clip from the arrangement. So if I hit play on another clip, let's go to the bass clip here. It's going to start perfectly in time at the beginning of a bar. How does it know to do that? Well, remember, the arrangement playhead is playing through in the background, and so if I hit play on one of these clips and maybe I hit it at the wrong time, you'll notice that the play button will blink a couple of times and then go solid green, and that means it's currently playing. It does that by waiting until the beginning of the next bar. So you can see the arrangement counter up here. So I just hit stop, right? But we were on bar 23, beat number 3, 16th note number 2. We can, if we zoom in here, see that. Bar 23, beat 23.3, and the second 16th note of that beat. So we can see where we are in the arrangement, but also if I turn the metronome on, we can also hear that all these clips should be playing in time with each other, as they are. Let's do an experiment here. I'm going to go to the percussion track, and I'm going to purposely hit play when this is on the 2. So you can see it counting through 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Counting through the quarter notes. Let's hit it on the 2. So I'll hit play on 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how it blinked a couple of times, and then it just started playing, and when it hit play, it lined it up perfectly. It played it, it quantized it, so that it perfectly played in time with the other drum loop and the other bass line here. So again, that's because my global quantize setting is set to 1 bar, which is the default setting, but you can click here and change that if you want to, if you're more confident and you're like, I can hit clips and quantize them at a smaller interval if I want to. You can change that from here, although I would highly recommend just leaving it at 1 bar for a while until you kind of get used to the session view and how all the moving parts work. If you're feeling really adventurous, you can set the quantization to none, the clip launch quantization to none, but you'll want to be careful here because things can pretty easily start getting into train wreck territory if I'm just launching clips arbitrarily. Yeah, already we're starting to sound pretty messy. So I'm going to stop everything. Let's reset that to 1 bar. It is worth noting, though, that each individual clip has its own individual clip quantization setting. So we can find that. Let's go here to this drum loop right here, and we'll go down to the clip settings over here, these tool tabs. We can see over here on this tab our launch settings here. And we can see we've got this launch setting. I'm going to go over those in a minute here, but we got this quantize setting here. And right now it says quantize global. That means that when I hit play on this clip, it's going to quantize to whatever my global setting is, which is up here. It's set to 1 bar, but I can change that for this individual clip if I want to. Why would I ever want to do that? Well, let's say, for example, I have maybe not a loop, but a sample that's meant to be more of a one-shot. So let's find something here in the core library. Yeah, let's go to one-shots, FX. Maybe I have like an effect sound, like a white noise or an impact or something like that. Let's see if we can find like a... Let's do, where was this? Impact gunshot, sure. So let's say I got this and I want to just bring that in as an effect. I don't necessarily want it to keep playing over and over again, but I just want to be able to hit play on it and bring it in as an effect every once in a while. Well, I can drag and drop it over here. You can see it says drop files and devices here, and it'll create the appropriate track for me. So because this is an audio sample, it made an audio track and it put it right on there. Now we can see here that this is currently set up. Let's go back to the clip launch parameters here. We can see that it's set up to loop, but I don't want it to loop, so I'm just going to turn that off. Now if I hit play on this clip, it'll play through. It's very loud, so we're going to turn it down. It'll play through, and then it'll stop when it hits this end marker right here. And I can move the end marker if I want to shorten it so it only plays for a little bit of time, and it stops right there. We'll keep the end marker at the end though. But I can go down here and Go over to the launch settings here. I can tell its quantization setting to maybe be a smaller value. Maybe I set it to 16th notes or something like that. So let's play some of our other clips here, and then I can go to this one. So I'm just clicking on it whenever I want to. Now it's quantizing, but it's quantizing to the nearest 16th note. So it's a little bit, it's still kind of in time, but it's a little bit more loose, right? I have a little bit more flexibility in when I can play it back. Or we can just turn it off altogether. We can set the quantization to none. So every time I click play on it, it's just playing back. It doesn't care what the timing is. It's just like, hey, when you hit play, I'm going to play right away. So we have these different quantized settings here. We can change them per clip if we want to. I might leave that one on none for now. So we also have down here these launch modes. We have 4 of them: trigger, gate, toggle, and repeat. And again, these are going to be in the launch tab here, this tab that looks like a little play button. So the trigger is the default mode. The launch mode trigger is the default, and that just means that if we hit play on a clip, let me stop all my other clips for a second here. We'll just focus on the drums. If I hit play on a clip and then I hit play on it again, the play button is always going to start the clip playback from the beginning where this start marker is set in the clip. Okay, I just moved it so it kind of skipped there. If I hit play again, it'll start from the beginning. If I hit play again, it'll start from the beginning. But it's always going to jump back to the beginning based on the quantize setting, the clip quantize setting, which is 1 bar. So if I hit in the middle of a bar, let's hit in the middle of bar 2 right here. It waits, and then when it gets to the end of bar 2, then it jumps back to the beginning. So when trigger mode is on, the play button always acts like a play button, and when we click it, it's going to play from the beginning of the clip. Let's jump down to the toggle mode. Toggle now changes the play button on each clip to a play stop button. So if I click play on it once, it'll play. If I click play on it again, it'll stop. And again, it will stop based on the timing of my quantization setting. So notice that it blinked there. I'm going to play it off time again. The stop button blinks a couple of times and then it stops for us. So toggle turns the play buttons on each clip into a start-stop switch. Let's jump here to gate. So gate is going to allow us to continue to play a clip if we click and hold on the play button. So if I click and hold on this play button, I'm continuing to hold it with my mouse, but if I let go of my mouse button, it's going to stop playback. And again, it'll stop playback based on our quantize setting. This is useful if you're using clips maybe in a live performance and you have certain clips that you want to gate, meaning that you want to be able to hold the play button and trigger them for an exact amount of time, and then when you let go of the play button, they'll stop. So for example, this impact sound, if we change the launch mode to gate, if I click play on it and I hold play, it will continue to play, but as soon as I let go, it stops. Remember, I have my quantize setting set to none on this clip, so if I click and hold, it'll play all the way through, but if I let go, it'll stop wherever I let go. So this is a sample playback technique called gating, where we press and hold a button to get the sample to play. When we let go of the button, the sample will stop playing. So that's the gate button, and then, or the gate launch mode, I should say, and then we have the repeat mode. This is kind of interesting. This will continue to repeat the playback of a clip based on our quantize setting if we click and hold the playback button. So if I don't click and hold a play button, it'll just play through as if I'm in trigger mode, and if I hit play again, it'll start from the beginning, continue to start from the beginning. But if I change my quantize, I have to change my quantize to something other than none, otherwise it won't work here. It's just going to behave kind of like trigger mode again. But if I switch my quantize to, let's say, 1/8 notes, now if I click and hold, it's going to continue to repeat that on 1/8 notes, or 16th notes, or triplets, or whatever I decide to pick here. Now it sounds like a Call of Duty match or something like that. But yeah, but repeat mode, we can start to do interesting rhythmic things with this if we change our launch mode to repeat and then play around with different quantize settings here. I'm going to reset this impact back to trigger and back to none for my quantize setting. Let's go over here to my hi-hats. Let's turn the impact clip off. And let's try doing a repeat on this. So we'll switch to repeat. Let's maybe try 1/8 notes. Now I have a slightly different feel for that if I hold it down. So let's play it with the main drums. Main drums, we're going to have to switch to trigger mode and then hit play on it. So I can real time change up the feel of this hi-hat loop by, just letting it play or clicking and holding and letting it repeat. I kind of mix it up a little bit. So you can start to see the implications here for live performance, having certain clips on repeat and certain clips just on trigger mode, or maybe toggle mode if you want to be able to start and stop them. So launching clips, as we've seen, is just Ableton's way of saying playing clips. And we've explored a few different ways that you can play clips back in the session view. And also it's worth noting that to find and import new samples into the session view, all you need to do is find them in your browser and drag and drop them either where it says drop files and devices here or onto any one of your empty clip slots on any one of your tracks.